Join us every week for coaching and Q&A. You'll learn how to get more listings signed and sold following the simple and fun EZ listing method. Plus, find hidden gem tips and get motivated as you surround yourself with like-minded peers in this weekly mastermind. Let's jump in.
Anyways, jump inside the system, but that's what I love about Melvin should be here on the community and talking about what they need to do to execute. Did Raymond's close yet? Did it go into contract yet?
Not heard.
Okay, so these are the things that we conquer as a community. So I wanted to share something with you guys. Try to get into the Bible as much as I can, which at this time's definitely not enough. But it's the reason why I share that, and even for you non-Christians, to me, it's always solidifying that you're doing the right thing. And so I went into Proverbs 11 today and read that. And this is what I took out of the thing. And this is kind of the company motto. And I think it's important. And I think you guys will see how this ties in to what our company stands for. So I wrote down after reading Proverbs 11 that as we share victories and even failures, others will be strengthened for the battles ahead. And when you think about how important it is to be a part of this community, be a part of these trainings, so that we're helping each other, because the objective is that we close more deals,
Right?
that we give the seller, that we give the buyer the best representation that we can out there. And when I tell you I'm not smart enough to build a site, Michelle's not smart enough. The only one who might be smart enough is Kat, honestly. But this thing's been a lot of God inspired from day one. And I believe that the site was built for today, not for 10 years ago when we started the thing. So that's kind of the company motto. It's the core reason why we do this business. We're not looking as money grubbing. We are looking to provide the consumers with a completely fair, honest, transparent way of doing real estate. No hidden agendas. We only want to sell the truth. And we allow buyers to make offers as much as they want to go. We allow sellers to say, you know what, I need a little bit more, or I'll take that. There's not a better way to sell real estate than what we're doing with the transparency. And as I say all of these things, part of your homework was to figure out a niche other than the expireds, canceled, and for sale by owners. Every one of you should be working on those. And we're going to talk about today how you should be working on those. My agents that I've learned from do it a different way than any other way that was ever taught. And I'll be interested to hear. So, Mike Nikolai, did you pick a niche or two?
Well, I've always wanted to, so yes is the answer. I'm very interested in the probate and following up with that. And then empty nesters, folks that have owned properties for a long time, but all the kids have moved out and they don't need 4 bedrooms anymore.
Well, Ace Tejada, you guys should be best friends in this community because that's Ace's passion too. And I've talked to a few of the people that he was doing business with, and they love him. But he's trying to do the same 2 niches. So that's wonderful. Kenneth, did you pick out a niche?
Niche?
Yeah.
Besides for sale by owners?
Yes.
First time buyers is my niche.
First time home buyers?
Yes.
Awesome. Erica, did you pick out a niche?
Yes, I had printed up the foreclosures and then also to either expireds or cancellations, or those that are just sitting there and they're old.
Okay, we're going to tell you everybody should be doing those. We're going to talk about those in a few minutes. Ace, you sticking with same thing as Michael or
Yes.
anything else?
Yep. I'd like to double down on my learning in regards to probate.
Okay. Bonnie?
I do luxury and also do first-time home buyers.
Very good. Shondell? I mean, we got Shondell on here twice.
I'm on twice. I hear you
Did you-
better in my ear with my Bluetooth.
Did you pick out a niche?
There's two items I've considered. Yes. The for sale by owner and then estate sales. I haven't
Estate sales.
pursued anything yet.
Awesome. That's good. Frank Macri?
Well, I do probate and trusts, divorces, a lot of the legal niches, because that's my background. I'm also getting into the baby boomers, seniors, right? Also, absentee owners that have owned their property for 15 years or so. And also small apartments, 5 to 20 units that have owned for 20 years or so, and their depreciation is going to start to run out. See who might be interested in doing a little something and have some tax strategies for them. So those are the areas that I focus on.
Right. Well, I mean, you guys hear the differences between everybody? I mean, the other thing, start letting your mind, and as a group, we'll know what's hot and what's not hot as we go further down there. Katie Pratt?
Yeah, I'm also probate reverse mortgage delinquencies, which I have to hop on because they're time sensitive. And empty nesters. So how that shows up for me is second death of joint tenant filings.
Awesome. And Brett, I'll spare you. I know what you're doing. And by the way, Brett, why don't you tell them what you're doing with the senior housing that you're trying to develop?
Oh, the ADUs, things like that, or
What's that?
you talking about like DADU?
You got the ADUs and you also have the 1-story duplexes?
Oh, yeah, multifamily 1031s. I'm actually doing one for myself right now. I just got my plans back and I'm going to be submitting to the city. I own a duplex and I want to add what they call DADUs, 2 more units. So it'll be turning multifamily and adding extra units on those. So if that works, then I'll go buy a couple other duplexes with large enough lots and then turn those into, they call them DADUs, I call them fourplexes, or adding extra units.
Yeah, he even had some plans drawn up a long time ago. And man, if it isn't a needed commodity nowadays, people moving from a 2-3-story home into a single story with room, garage, and all that stuff. There's a place in Federal Way that built these small homes. And it's funny, it's by Jeff Tesloff, who also works with us. But they built it kind of across the street from his house. And these little micro units that I think the biggest one was 1,200 square feet. The average size was 700 square feet. These things were selling like for $400,000 and $500,000 and sold out in a month.
Yeah, most cities allow only up to 1,000 square feet, no smaller than 50, but that's the issue. They won't go over 1,000 square feet. And Lake Stevens doing it now. I just got my mitigation for my schools, roads, parks. It's going to be $27,000 before I even start anything. So the fees these municipalities are trying to make it easier, but it's hard when you got to spend 30 grand before you even do anything.
And so, good job. Thank you. The reason why I asked everybody to talk about their niches, for those of you who have niches, or maybe those of you who like maybe something as Brett doing, this is a great way to partner up in the community and help each other succeed. And I think as a community, it's important that we keep our friends intact and so on. So today is going to be fairly quick. I am going to give an update on deal that Kenneth and I were working on. And the reason why is because I want you guys to know how serious we are about stuff. So, long story short, Kenneth talked to this lady a few times. I talked to the lady 2 times. The lady was on board to do it. At that point, Kenneth went out and looked at the home, figured that, you know what, we could go ahead and sell this. Is out in Inglewood, California, or close to it. Figured out that it could probably work. And then through that couple days, you know, that we had an agreement on a Friday, and I think we talked again on a Tuesday. She started doing all the stuff. Well, I only want it listed for 2 weeks. I want a $5,000 guarantee from the investor or the agent. And Kenneth was going to, you know, put money into the home himself. So we told her to go pound sand. And I don't care when a seller is being that idiotic, that ridiculous, that self-serving. I don't want to do business like that with people. If they don't understand what they're doing, and this lady made a bunch of bad decisions. So now she's trying to pick on the realtors and get this thing done. And so I just want you guys to know that we aren't letting people dictate the way stuff gets done. Either they do it right or we're not going to talk to them. All right. Everybody happy with that?
Absolutely.
The only way to do business.
100%.
Okay. So let's talk about expireds and canceled. I don't know in your MLSs on the canceled. I think more time, Brett, tell me if I'm wrong on this up in, you know, North King County, but down in the area that Mona and I work, generally when stuff gets canceled, it's working. Maybe they had sold it and found out that through the inspection processes something was wrong. So they take it off of the system and they plan on putting it back on. And unfortunately, our agents aren't smart enough to say that until you call them. Yeah, if I have a cancel list because of an error, I mean, I'll put that in so the agents that are trying to go after the listing, give them an idea that, hey, we're putting it back on. We're the agents that are going to do that. So in your case, make sure you're checking out the actual detail sheet on those. All right. And make your life simple. Expireds.
Wait, time out, Robert, can we go back a little bit? What did you say that we need to look at the MLS sheets? Like, what is it specifically that we're looking for there?
The agent remarks.
The agent remarks to say, hey,
Like
here's-
another, if I have a listing that's canceled because we're doing work on it, I'll put in the agent remarks of why it's canceled, and then we're going to be putting it back on at some point.
okay, gotcha.
And I don't, most of our agent friends don't know to do stuff like that. So they let their sellers get bombarded with that. So when and who on expired listings, who generally works expires immediately once they're expired?
Listing agents.
Robocallers or Mojos, dollars.
Okay. Who else? Listing agents.
Listing agents.
In Century 21, we taught our newbies. That's a great way to go out and start your business career, is with expireds, right?
Yeah.
It's something that was listed, it didn't sell. So we know they want to sell their home, right? But there's also existing circumstances. So let me ask you this. How many of you have had an expired listing?
Couple.
So
Yes.
what do the sellers call and say 3 days after the expired is in the MLS?
Not interested. Don't want to talk to you.
I got a million calls.
Yeah.
I got a
Not
million
another
calls.
agent. I don't want to talk to any of you.
Okay. So first thing is on expireds. We don't call them in the first month.
Right. I wait till a month.
When I pull up an expired list, I am pulling up 31 days to 90 days.
Mhm.
Yeah, I had an agent who used to do that and he was successful because everybody calls in the first week, and after 20, you got to check to see if they're still off the market. But yeah, he used to get quite a few because he's the only one calling 30 days later.
And I mean, all of a sudden, because the first week, they are getting slaughtered. I mean, I've heard of sellers changing their phone numbers, their cell numbers, to get out of all the calls from the agents. So, do we really want to call the people? Or what's a better method if it's I don't know about you guys, but I used to work expireds in the areas where I was already working. Is anybody like saying, well, I'll work the whole state? Or is everybody kind of staying status quo?
Well, there was someone who called me last week who has this AI company he's been testing out that instead of calling, he sends out a custom letter. The AI scans the MLS to make sure it says don't contact agent, etc. And then it has some sort of automation where the letter goes out. You can review it, but it lists specific features of the house and what they could do to improve for remarketing their home. And he's running a pilot in California for free. I'm not sure about Washington and some of the other states that we cover, but I'm going to try it out. So I'll report back on that.
Good deal. Yeah, it'll be interesting to hear, Katie. So until we hear back from Katie, maybe that's a better way. I don't know what it's going to cost for her to use the system, but she can report back to us on that. But an effective way to, and again, nobody answered the question. Are you working a specific area that you already work? Are you sending it out countywide? How far are you targeting out when you pull up expireds?
Surrounding counties, so outside of my normal area, because there aren't that many.
How about you, Kenneth?
I'm working my 3 nearest zip codes in my area. Close to my home zip code.
Bonnie?
I do all zip codes in my area. The luxury, I even go back a year on luxury expired.
So what I am going to tell you to do is send them out a letter first, introduce yourself, who you are. We've got plenty of scripts inside of our platform. Everybody should know where they are by now. If you don't, do a little bit of research back there. Call Michelle. She'll certainly help you find them. Send them out a letter. Most of you went through the mail merge program in Word because you can hit 30 of those. You can use the same letter and make 30 of those in 5 minutes. Does anybody want me to go through that again on Thursday?
Yes.
The mail merge program?
Yep.
All right. So that'll be the first. So be at your computers and we will go through that. But the mail merge program is you just import a PDF or an Excel sheet into Word. You have your template already made. And why do homes expire? Why don't they sell?
Overpriced usually.
Overpriced?
What
else?
Not marketing them correctly.
Not market enough? Maybe lousy photos?
Yeah.
Maybe it's a challenge to get in to see the property.
Challenge to see the end of the property. So, and what you need when you're with the EZ Real Estate platform, what do you think would be the most beneficial for them to list with you?
Besides the 0% commission?
Nope. With the 0% commission. And not only do I do all this, full MLS services, full real estate market, yada, 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 but my sellers don't pay the commission.
Right.
But also to market how it helps the buyers.
The transparency.
Yes.
Sold in half the time.
Joy's on this. Hi, Joy. Oh, I see your little
video's
sheet.
not working.
What else? Keep throwing out zingers, you guys. Keep throwing them out. Your homework before Thursday is create that letter so that we can go in and do a mail merge program. And I can show you how to do 30 names in 5 minutes flat. Have those things printed with envelopes and everything else. You fold them up. You send them out to the people with your unique selling proposition. Then guess what we're going to do?
Follow up.
How are we going to follow up, Ace?
Call.
Nope.
Talk to,
Lydia and I do the calling. We're going to go knock on their door. We're going to go introduce ourselves, and we're going to give them a marketing report and a CMA, along with a why use me. Hey, I don't know if you got my letter that I sent you a week ago, but I'm that agent that sells a home and don't charge you a commission. Does everybody know how to do video texting?
video
Yes.
what?
Video texting?
I don't know how to do videos, but
On Thursday, we're going to do the
you talking about where you do it on the phone?
yes.
I know how to do that. Yeah.
Oh God, if everybody knows how to do that, I don't have to do that. Yay. On it. But if they're not home, we are going to send them because we have access to their phone numbers, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because of the MLS, we're going to send them a video text. Say, hey, my name is Bonnie Yard. I sent you out a letter a week ago. I just want to let you know I'm leaving you a marketing report at the door and a few little trinkets. And by the way, my sellers don't pay a commission. Yeah, and you'll know what the house is worth if it's worth, $400,000. And most agents are getting 6%. So I'm going to save you $24,000. Give me a call. Why do we want to do video text?
Because nobody else does it.
That's
And
true.
also because that way they can see you and they can get, what is it? A picture's worth 1,000 words, but a video's worth 1,000,000.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So Robert and I did that a few times, and you take the video standing in front of their house and say, I just stopped by, dropped some stuff off, or you get back to me. I mean, that because they see you made the effort to go out there. Now they see your face too, and they see their house in the background.
How many other agents are doing this, Brett? Everything that we have you guys do, these are all proven remedies. They've not only worked for us, we don't learn this on our own. Brett and I happen to pay 25 grand to learn how to do this stupid stuff. But it's huge. You will get a response back from a seller right away. And maybe the bottom line fact they decided to stay house, this and that, but they will start telling you that, if I know anybody that's listing a home, I see how hard you work, I will pass on your information to them. So on this marketing pack, there should be a QR code with a postcard explaining what you do and driving them to your website and your contact information. Any questions on that? Yahoo! All right. So canceled listings, they're soured big time. And the cancel listings that I talk to, they no longer trust real estate agents. So we've got to earn their trust back. How do we earn their trust back? Again, by doing things differently. So if you implement this stuff into the expires, into the cancellations, you'll get a lot more listings just simply without having to pay any more money, without having to do extra farming, without having to do this stuff here. But you've got to get them to price the home right. And what do we do to get them to price the home right? We run an RPR trend report, right? We talk about how the platform works. Pricing the home right. Because you're not paying the commission, let's get a price under that. Let's get more people to come look at the house. More people means more offers means more money for you. And the very cool thing is that it's open and transparent to everybody. And I always send out Quinn Greenlee's buyer video that she basically had a budget. And I think she ended up extending her budget $30,000 to $40,000. But when she had won a thing, the first thing she had to decide was, am I going to go $10,000 more than what my husband and I had agreed on? And she makes it very, very clear in this video. There was no way I was going to lose this home. And thank God Quinn got it. We've had it happen several times. It's tough to get buyers and sellers to do to do reviews for you. Okay. All right. So any questions on that? For sale by owners. Same thing. For sale by owners, I don't ever bother calling them. I work my area. I go and knock on their door, and I am leaving them a marketing report along with my unique selling proposition. And on the first go around, what I do with my for sale by owners and when I am working farming a community, I do the same thing. I touch them 3 times in that month, and we're going to talk about that the following Monday. Okay. All right. Who has a YouTube channel and who doesn't? Raise your hand if you
I
have a
do.
YouTube.
I do.
I do.
I have a YouTube channel. I haven't activated it.
Yep, I do.
Okay. Very good.
Real quick, Robert. This is an example of what we would leave on the doorstep, just a package with some stuff. Put your CMA in there, some stuff about you. This has got like a couple bottles of water, some popcorn, spend $4 or $5 and just drop this off on their doorstep, holding it as you're videoing it, saying, hey, get back to me if you got any questions.
Brett gave you a sneak preview of what we're going to do. You know anybody else is doing that? Frank Macri's got a book. I got a book. When I finally, that's the third touch, we leave that on there with a video. If we still haven't gotten in touch with them, 90% of the people will call you back after that third touch of leaving them there, a bag. And we'll get into it, not this week, but a week from today. Does everybody still have that, the slides for this that I did?
Slides for what?
The road to 10 listings a month.
Yes. I downloaded
Yep.
it.
Is there anybody that doesn't have it? That
I
hasn't
don't, because
downloaded?
I was late getting in there that day. I don't have it.
See here. Here we go. All right. Bonnie, I'm going to shove this into the chat for you guys that don't have it.
I also put 2 letters I've used in the chat if you guys want to just reference those or look at them.
Okay. So does everybody see the homework on the second page?
On what you just sent us?
Yes.
There you go.
So if you download that and make sure that you go out and get the stuff. My wife and I, Brett, what's it costing you for each of your bags?
Oh, you can keep them under $5.
Okay.
Mona, when we buy those bags in bulk off of Amazon, and then for your literature, and then seasonal, like in the spring, you do some bulbs or whatever. And so I try to keep under $5.
Yeah. And Mona is going to be posting stuff that we are doing ourselves. We'll be posting that every month. Yeah, just talking about what we do. And Mona's average bag costs $3.27.
Brett, can I ask you a question? Hello, can anybody hear me?
Yes.
We hear you.
Brett, I wanted to ask you that nice package, that little bag, is that on your last touch or your first touch?
We're going to go through that, Kenneth.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, don't jump ahead. We got plenty ways to go before we start digging those packages.
I don't know.
You guys saw that Brett and I bought these vacations. Brett, what did we pay for it? $65 a piece?
Something like that.
Anyways, it's one of those things that they don't have to go sit through a timeshare thing or this and that. They just got to pay the taxes. But there's 5 different programs. It's where you can do a weekend all over the nation, all over the world. You can do a 7-night thing. You can do a cruise. You just got to pay the taxes and the other stuff. So the way Brett and I were using these vacations is when we actually got the listing and sold the listing, we gave them a vacation for $65, but we paid the fees too. So by the time we were done, the fees average about $500. a trip. So $565, the sellers were getting a beautiful vacation. So if you guys are interested in that too, I'm gonna have the owner of that company come on. He's talking about giving our agents a 20% discount. So for anybody that wants to, they'll be on that as well. So let's talk about the homework. All right. So Joy, are those scripts inside of our platform?
No, they're ones that I have used, but I can send them to Kat, but
Yeah, Kat's not on it. She was on. So let's make sure we send them to her and get those on as well.
Yep.
But we've got oodles and oodles and oodles of letters for expires, for sale by owners, and canceled listings on there. All right. So is everybody going to agree to farm an area? And that's working 25 homes a week. That's it. And if 25 is too much for you,
No.
then work 10 homes a week. Is there anybody that won't do that? All right. So I expect you to pick out a farming area. And then what I want you to do is I want you to call your title company. And I want them to give you those names, addresses for that area that you're going to farm. Okay. Last week we asked you guys to do a niche postcard. Did everybody do that?
What type of postcard?
A niche, whatever your niche is.
Oh,
Did anybody go into the Every Door Direct and decide on a size that they were going to sell? Brett and I do 6x9s.
6 by 9, that's what I do.
But you can do 4x6s. You do 5x7s, 5x8s. The reason why, so my parents used to own a print shop. The reason why the 6x9s are a little more expensive than the 5x8s, because on an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper, those 5x8s, you can get 2 postcards on those. So 5.5 by 8.5 would be exactly half of that sheet. For those of you who are going to print them yourselves. And I like I say, I had an old brother, not inkjet, but Michelle, help me again.
Desk jet, toner.
Yeah, with the powder.
Toner or inkjet.
Yeah, so toner, and did a nice job, did 2-sided printing on there. And then I even had a little cutter. But if you don't have a cutter, you can print them out, take them down to Office Depot. They'll charge you like $3 to cut the postcards down for you. All right. So you got to decide on that. So it sounds like everybody has a YouTube channel, website, and CRM. How are we doing on that? Everybody have one?
Yeah, I'm setting up the CRM, moving from the previous KV Core thing.
Oh, KV Core is a vein in my butt. That's a tough one in there. So if you don't have a CRM, it's okay. Just do things manually. But if you don't have a website, let us help you build a landing page, right? And I think Zeeshan said he'd build you guys a website for $100. Didn't he say $100?
He said $100. Well, like he said 110, and then somebody said 100.
Yeah. Anyway, so if you're interested in doing that too, we can get that done for you as well. I'd like to see all this stuff done within 2 weeks so that you can start marketing and getting stuff going. All right. Canceled list. Run out your canceled list from 31 days to 90. And you want to keep that ongoing. For sale by owners. Does everybody know that they can go and kind of pick out an area in Zillow? Put the for sale by owners. They have the phone numbers down for the owners and addresses. Okay. And again, there's other companies that charge you to print out things. You don't need to do that. Who created the 3 Facebook posts to get ready to post things on our Facebook page? All right. If you buy 100 gift bags, you're getting them for a lot cheaper than you do with onesies and twosies. And you can go down to a real dollar store and get them for $1 and pick out a variety of different ones. That's what Mona does. So, Brett, what did those cost you on Amazon?
I don't know. Like I was gonna look them up right now to get an idea. They were like 30 cents or less. I can't remember. If you buy a bulk.
There's another thing. buy enough tissue paper for those bags. I mean, Mona buys tissue paper. I think it lasts us all year. And she's getting 3 different colors to match our brand. Okay. We'll talk about the gifts. Like I say, she'll be posting on some. I do know coming up with Thanksgiving and Christmas, a great one is 2 coffee mugs, a hot chocolate packet with a couple Hershey Kisses and a candy cane. That keeps you under $3 at a dollar store. So we'll be doing that. The marketing guide, the What's My Home Worth flyer, we will be talking about that in 2 weeks, not this week. Okay, and then a seller guide, and then for all of you, Frank, do you have your books printed, or do you just put a link on it and send people like you do on your website?
Well, I have print version and I also have a digital version.
Okay. So for those of you who have a book, I actually got mine printed. I get them 500 at a time. And I stick them in there. Why do I stick them in there? Because it looks impressive.
You can get 100 brown little bags like that for $20, so 20 cents a piece.
Okay. So, and if we go through these programs and we find cheaper places to buy stuff, we need to let each other know as a community, right?
Yes.
And then, Brett and I give away vacations, but I'll never forget when I was with EXP, there was a person coming around and selling like a bottle of wine, personal branded with your branding plus 2 wine glasses with the business logo on it. And I mean, not a $500 bottle of wine, but a nice bottle of wine. We were able to get those things for like $28 for when people actually close the deal. So all of you, at least we do, we always give gift to our buyers and sellers when we sell a home. And so right now we're giving them the vacations and stuff too, but I think it's nice to have a variety of stuff and say, hey, which one you want? And do that. So start looking at stuff like that if you want to do that. But in 3 weeks, we'll be done with this. I expect you guys to go to 25 homes a week. And that's 25 new homes. It's not 25 of your mom, your dad, your kids. Go over there. Hey, I went babysitting. I dropped off a package. Woohoo! So, all right. So now we've got this in place. Let's start building the infrastructure. Thursday, we're going to work on the mail merge program. And we'll also do the video text will take 5 minutes to do on there. So be at your computers on Thursday, okay? Everybody. And it's not hard to do. And it's just a time saver. And for those of you that are working foreclosures, do I have a treat for you? We have a letter, we have a logo that looks like it's coming from a bank for people that are in pre-foreclosure. And then when they open it up and we offer to help them through a process and legitimately go help them, majority of those turn into listings. We are also going to teach you how to negotiate with service companies. This isn't a market where these banks want to take these homes back. But there is a technique to talking to them. So we will be talking about that within the next 3 weeks.
Whenever you say service companies, are you suggesting that we're going to be eventually doing short sales?
We're going to try to do a listing before. The difference between now and 2006, 2007, 2008, I think the government did a good job with making sure that people had skin in the game. They weren't running these scams, borrowing, 30% more than the home's worth. The people that are losing their homes right now have skin in the game. So we're going to help those people sell their house and hopefully get them back the skin in the game that they have into it.
You remember Ditech? They were 141% of your values that they would lend.
That's scary. So they nipped that in the bud. And, they're making people, put some money down and, except for VA. But VA people go and get foreclosed on, they're liable to get booted out of the service and lose their rank and everything else as well. So, and I didn't hear anybody mention military. Michelle, are you your niche military still?
Of course, always.
So military is another good one to do. So, all right, you guys. That being said, be ready for on Thursday. Anybody have any comments or questions about what we went over? Everybody have.
Actually, yes. Like, can we get Zeeshan's contact info, please?
Yeah, Zeeshan at ezrealestateplatform.com.
Okay, gotcha. Thank you.
You're probably gonna have to go through me though, Ace, because you're gonna
Okay.
have to use our Stripe and pay us. But definitely, you can email them and tell them this is what I want. You said you do it for $100, and you might need some help from Kat and I to help them as well. So keep us in the loop on that too for all of you that contact them.
How do you spell that name?
Zeeshan.
Got it.
Will he show us how to put the landing page on our website?
Oh yeah. It'll just incorporate right into it.
Yeah, I just want to make sure I do it right. Okay.
So that would go on, like, I have my real estate office website page. So would that just be incorporated on there?
Yeah,
Okay.
and just so everybody knows, I can't do it before the end of the year. Eventually, that agent page for our site that you're on will turn into a landing page for you.
Oh, okay.
So that's in the future. It's just not going to happen for a couple months. We are testing some different ways out to make that beneficial for everybody. So, all right, you guys, appreciate everybody.
I have a question.
Yeah, Shondell.
You brought up the investors a couple of weeks ago, and then you said previous meeting you were going to discuss that today.
If you can go back, Shondell, into the website, there's plenty of investor stuff the way that we do it. We are coming out with an investor program that
That's
if
what
they
I
want
was
to put a home on
referring
the
to.
platform, they must go through. And we're also about doing a turnkey thing for investors and agents where we're doing the marketing for them. We're doing all the work for them. All they have to do is the acquisition part, figure out how they want to sell it. By doing that as a group of people, the marketing gets a lot cheaper. We get better leads. And just so everybody knows, we have contracted out a home in Mill Creek, Florida, doing a novation. And so there'll be more to come on that, but we are documenting every process so that everybody knows the right way to do this thing. The contract's sent out to the seller. She's having her attorney look at it, and she'll sign that. And then when she signs it on Thursday, I'll tell you what the terms are of the novation. Okay.
I'm a notorious cheat, so almost every municipality has their library system will give their people free prints. I get 10 free color prints or 15 free color prints a week. You take down the card stock, put it in, they put it through their laser printer. Now you have 30 postcards you just printed for free. So join the library, and almost every library will give their people free printing.
Look at that. Woohoo!
Excellent. I'd like to ask Robert or Michael, the live link to the EZ platform, once your listing is live, can I put that on the MLS for buyer agents to sign their people up?
No, if you have the how to do an offer sheet, Kenneth, that takes them right to that with the QR code. It takes them right to the page for them to sign up.
No, I scan that page and that page opens up the platform showing the houses, but when I scan it, it doesn't go directly to my listing.
No.
You don't want it to go to your listing. You just want it to go to the sign up page.
Hey, Kenneth, I don't think you can have any live links in our system.
Oh, okay. That's
They don't allow it.
But
There's no way
Kenneth,
we
you can
keep
build
doing
a
that for
QR
every
code to
single
go
listing.
to that. If you want them to go to your house, because they can certainly register there too, you can build a QR code for that with that URL and put it on your how to do an offer sheet.
Right, that's what I have it on, how to do an offer sheet.
We have it go right to your house. And they can go on there and they can register to make an offer and plus do a variety of other things.
Oh, okay, so I can replace that QR code with the one that goes right to my offer on the platform.
Absolutely. Yeah, you
Okay.
guys, the QR codes that we provide for you are for the company.
Okay,
I mean, all these things that we're, and again, this is why Joy is much better at training than I am, because I just assume you should be doing your own QR codes. You should be doing your own branding. You should be doing your own stuff with your own colors. The reason why we put the plug and play templates into Canva is so that you can edit those and use your colors, use your QR code, etc.
excellent, excellent.
So that's a good question. Thank you, Kenneth.
Yeah, I was actually going to use those at the open house. And by the way, Robert and everybody, I couldn't change my listing date from the 3rd. I had to make it live on the 3rd. My open house is still on the 11th because that's what I agreed with the sellers.
Are you letting people into the home before?
I'm asking her if I can do a broker caravan on Wednesday, this Wednesday, a broker agent caravan.
Yeah. Any other questions before we get off? And
Robert?
everybody's gonna be ready on Thursday, right?
Robert, are you still in Cleveland?
I am for another week. Then I'm heading back to Seattle.
Okay. Thank you.
You betcha.
Appreciate it, everybody.
All right. Hey, everybody. Thank you. Have a very wonderful week. Get ready to start getting some listings. It's a good time of year to do that. And like I say, I'd like everybody by March of next year to have 10 listings each. If you
Excellent.
follow our way to do them, you will have them. If you want to do 10 instead of 25 a week, you'll end up with 5 listings a month. Okay.
Excellent.
All right. Anyways, thanks everybody. Have a great day. See you
Great.
on Thursday.
But